Hey there everyone, this is Justin again with the Cooking Dojo, and I'm here to share another episode of character origins with you all. So last week we covered Jay Kavanaugh, so this week we will be covering Ken Miyamoto. Alright, this is where I feel like these character origin videos will become a little more interesting because, as I said, Jay was originally just me, and then he kind of turned into his own character, whereas Ken was created with the sole purpose of being a new character. Alright, the purpose of Ken was, out of all the web shows I watched, I never saw one where the host was replaced with a totally new character for a long period of time. So I wanted to do that with, of course, Ken running the show instead of Jay running the show. Originally, his look was actually a lot different. Originally, I actually meant for him to look like Red from the Pokemon Adventures manga, or Pokemon Special, depending on where you're from. But ironically enough, due to time and money restraints, I used the wig I used for my Green Oak cosplay. Alright, so who Ken is as a person? Because he was the replacement host, I thought it would be more interesting to make him the total opposite of Jay. So if Jay is arrogant, Ken is not very confident in his abilities. And if Jay has no problems talking to girls and is therefore an enemy of women, I thought Ken should be nervous around women but very popular and loved by them. Alright, so this is also where I really started to, just start being fearless and going with my own storylines as opposed to focusing solely on the cooking aspect. I also thought that if I made Ken too badass, so to speak, I felt like the conflict at hand wouldn't have been very threatening. That's just me. Or the threat would have been so big, to challenge the main character, that I'm not sure Jay would have really stood a chance when I brought him back. But mostly just, I wanted him to be the opposite of Jay. And he was actually pretty well received. I would say out of all the storylines I've done, the Ken Miyamoto arc has definitely been the most popular. And I think that's because I gave people a new spin on things. And Ken was just a very likable character. I mean, I'd have to say out of all my characters, he's probably the most lovable character I've got. And as you can tell, he has come back. I actually wanted to wait a while before I brought him back. He was actually originally supposed to come back after Jay did his first 10 appetizers around Asia. But I wanted you to really miss him and be surprised by his return, which is why I waited a little longer before I brought him back. And I actually have some more storylines planned down the road for him, so no spoilers, but it should really develop his character more. Alright, as far as the name goes, well, Ken was just kind of a typical martial artist name, or at least what I saw in a lot of anime and video games and manga. Miyamoto, well, he behaved a lot more Japanese compared to Jay. So to explain that, I said that Ken was adopted by a Japanese family, and I wanted to think of a last name for him, and well, Shigeru Miyamoto is one of my favorite game creators, so I went with Miyamoto. Sorry. Plus, I just really like the last name. I think it's a pretty cool last name. As far as the look, because he behaved more Japanese than Jay, I thought his look should be more Japanese, even though Jay looks pretty Japanese in his current look right now, but at the time, not so much for Jay. So that is Character Origins Ken Miyamoto. Next week we will cover Artemis Roth. Until then, take care, guys.